Okay, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Public Service Committee. We have two orders. They're basically communications, so I'm gonna give you an overview, and then we'll get into a discussion and see if we can wrap these up in time for Urban to start on time. The first communication is order number 221008553. Communications from the Planning Board regarding Howes Landing subdivision recommending of Geiger's Lane as a public way. The second order is communications from the Planning Board recommending acceptance of Geiger Lane as a public way and referred to the Public Service Committee. That's us. I know I've visited it a couple times and I've gone up and there's a few cracks, but overall, I think it's in pretty good shape. Now, we did get a communications, which I'll read shortly, from the city engineer. Believe it or not, it's 5 years old. Does have a crack or two, but overall, my feeling is, and that's what we'll discuss tonight, whether we should move forward on this and get it accepted. Okay, I'm going to open it up to the committee first. I don't know, John, if you have any comments you want to make or expand upon?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Absolutely. Thank you to the city engineer for his earlier correspondence in regards to the crack repairs that would certainly be added onto the ceiling list for 2024. Knowing that, I think that's beneficial. You know, knowing the condition of the road and for us to be accepting it. So I would not have any problem going forward since this is going to be on that particular list. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. After reviewing all of the materials and seeing that after the Planning Board's review, they voted and it carried 7-0. Nobody was opposed to it, and with what the engineer had said, and I took a drive up the street as well, I have no opposition. Thank you.
Other councilors? No? No? Oh, Councilor Name, that's your ward. You must have a few comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a few comments. It is.
Oh, new sidewalks put in with.
Well, I was gonna mention it. You know, maybe some trees as well. This is, as you noted, in Ward 6. I've spent a bit of time up here, both walking the street and driving up and around. It's in good shape. You know, tongue-in-cheek, it's in better shape than a lot of some of the other roads in the city. And so I think accepting it is a prudent measure on our behalf. And I think it's in good shape and will be for some time to come. So I think if the city, as the engineer noted, puts it on the ceiling list for 2024, I think it'll ensure that the road is in good shape for a long time. So I am in support of this. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anybody else with a comment? Councilor Orm, how you doing? I'm not going to put you on the spot.
Yes, on Geekus Lane, boy, that's loud. Sorry. On Geekus Lane, I was curious, you might have mentioned it. They're going to seal the cracks next year, 2024?
Well, you'll see the communication I got from the city engineer.
Yes.
Probably be in the spring. It'll be on the 24 list.
Was there any money left in reserves from the developer to have that completed versus us paying for it? I was just curious.
Well, it's always a thought. I believe the way I interpret it is that the developer is off now. It's out. You know, there was some question about who was paying for the electricity. As you know, they pay for the street lights to a certain point, and then when the city takes it over. So I think I read somewhere in that communication that the developer is kind of off the hook. Now, that being the case, maybe we could get the engineering department of Department of Public Works, when they do it, they could build them. Now, I have no idea what it would cost, but when you bring a company in to do other streets in Marlborough, it would probably be less expensive, and it's a possibility that we could have engineer DeBercio look into that. Sure. And, try it anyways. I have no idea what it would cost, but I think just the size of the cracks and how much, and if they're doing other streets in Marlborough, probably wouldn't be that expensive.
Yeah, I think it'd be cost-effective that way, but I was just curious if there was any money in the reserves for that subdivision approval that could go towards whatever that cost was.
Yeah,
That's all I was
As I
asking.
say, I thought I read something from one lawyer that they're basically, it's over.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Reluctant to remind you that maybe you should read the letter from Tom DePercio and the letter from the planning board, too.
I'm gonna
Thank you.
read both of those, just to get those.
And the
into
letter
record,
from,
yeah.
and the letter from the mayor as well in that packet.
Okay, so let's start with, see, I had these numbered, but I mixed them up. Okay, we did receive a letter from, actually, March 16th, 2022, from the planning board, and Honorable President Ossing and members. At its regular meeting on March 4th, the planning board took the following action. On a motion by Mr. Elder, second by Mr. Russ, the board voted to recommend to the city council that Geiger's Lane be accepted as a public way and the easement be accepted as a municipal easement in the city of Marlborough. And then they voted majority. Okay, and then the communications that I had a previous one, but the one we got today from the city engineer, Tom DePercio. He mentioned that regarding order number 2210085553, House Landing subdivision in the acceptance of Gagos Lane as a public way, I also following. The roadway was paved 5 years ago. Since that time, the pavement has sustained some surface cracking. In 2022, the engineering division did an inspection of the roadway and commented to the planning board that paved cracking was the only outstanding issue with the roadway and that the acceptance could be recommended. As of this writing, the crack sealing remains the only outstanding issue. If the roadway is accepted as a public way, it can be added to our crack seal list in 2024. Tom DePercio. So I think that's what we can pass. So what I'd probably like to do is see if we get a motion on this, and then I will report it out at the next city council meeting, have the entire city council vote on it, and go from there, see if we can get it done this year. Oh, there's one other letter. That was number 2.2. Councilor Ossing, acceptance Gagos Lane of public way. This is from the mayor. I am writing to you in regards to the proposed acceptance of Gagos Lane, which came before you on March 28th on the city council agenda. I highly recommend that you each take time to visit the road, to review and inspect it before a formal acceptance is considered. The road currently has multiple cracks that need to be sealed prior to approval. The planning board has been copied on this letter in order to share this concern with them. It is my hope that before the street or roads are accepted, they are visited by both the planning board and the city council. Feel free to reach out to my office with any questions. Sincerely, Arthur Vigent, Mayor. So that's something that, maybe we should consider. He has some reservations about it. The rest of the committee, it seems like we did visit. I think we all did. So it's up to you people, whether we should move forward, table it.
Well, Mr. Chair, I think on the first order, we can accept the communication from the planning board, accept the communication from the planning board.
Yep.
In regards to the Geiger's Way, public way, and then we could, on the second item, accepting it as a public way, we could definitely maybe hold off on that, the second one. If you wanted to get more information from the city engineer, we could.
More information?
We could get maybe more information from the city engineer to see the cost
Well,
analysis.
that might be the thing that would satisfy the mayor and others, you know, what would the cost be? We know if we're just pulling someone in to do that one street, it could be, especially this time of the year, I think it's too late, to be honest with you.
Correct.
We could think, if it's bunched in with Crosby Road and Bolton Street, you know, it's a possibility that we could spread the cost. Oh, Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So if you read the letter from the city engineer, it says it will be added to the crack seal list. If you recall, when we approved the bonding for the streets, there's always a crack seal list on there. So it's not, they're not going to go out and do one street.
No.
This won't be done until they do stuff in the spring and through the fall of next year. They'll go up and do that. So I don't know that they can tell you how much it's going to cost. I am pretty sure that since this was finished 5 years ago, that there's no money sitting anywhere. All that money's been returned to the developer. And I would hope that, especially since these letters came in over a year ago, that this body will finally approve the street.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I would just ask that our finance director check to see if there is any money left. If there isn't, obviously, we put it into our project next spring. But if there is money left, I'd like to see that the developer pay for this, because it's still not our responsibility. We have not accepted it. What worries me is if we do and not consider that, it sets a precedent for others to do the same. And they might say,
Well, it's always a thought, yeah.
yeah, remember Gigas Lane, you know, you guys did it for them, why can't you do it for us? You know, that's what I'm worried about, is we set a precedent that we may not want to do. So if there is no money, obviously, what can we do? But if there is money left, it'd be nice to apply it towards the seal coating that we're going to have to pay for next spring. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Councilor David.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My understanding, and maybe shed some light on Councilor Orm's questions, is that not only is there no money, the LLC, the corporation that was in charge of the development, has disbanded. And also, you know, at the time when the development was complete, the bonds were signed off by the city, by the developer, and by all parties. So I appreciate the point of us being financially and fiscally responsible, but I don't believe there's any money. And again, I do think that the road is in quite good shape. We should also, you know, think about this, you know, as we start to have a larger discussion about accepting streets that are private ways. You know, the city's Chapter 90 calculations are done based on the miles of road we have. So the more miles of road that we do have, there is more financial assistance from the Commonwealth. So I imagine that by accepting this road and having, you know, even a marginal increase in our Chapter 90 money may help offset the cracks that will be done, as Councilor Roby mentioned, as part of the larger crack repairs that we do in 2024. So I don't think it's a huge financial burden to the city, but I do think it would be a benefit not only to the residents that live on Geikus Way, but also to the community as a whole. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
I know what you're saying about, you know, letting this one go and then the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. I don't think it happens that frequently. Unfortunately, the passage of time doesn't help us here. But I do, and I know from my involvement in working with Karen, you know, I wanted to, end of another calendar year or city council year, clean up, you know, get some of these done. That was my, part of the reason we got working on this.
And, Mr. Chair, the answers solve the problem of not setting a precedent. This one, unfortunately, had some issues behind it,
Well,
like the 5 years.
Would it be better satisfied if we, as I say, I don't think we have any recourse to go after them or be worthwhile. Get a cost from the engineering department and then table this and bring it up at a meeting. And if it's a rather minute amount, I mean, it's up to you guys. I can't imagine it's going to be outrageous, especially when we're going to bunch this in with other seal coating taking place. Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think just between the packet that we have and the information going back to earlier this year and having the opportunity to go out to that road and take a look at it, and, you know, as it's been stated, it's in pretty nice shape. It just needs some crack seal, and with what the engineer had said about adding it to the seal list of 2024, to me, that's more of like a package deal, and I don't think they would be able to itemize potentially what just the cracks on just that street might be a cost, because I feel like if it's done as a whole seal list, it would just be part of a lump fee, taking into consideration how many cracks are being sealed. So I think with that being said, I know Counselor Irish had moved to accept the communication from the planning board. I would like to accept the communication as stated by Counselor Irish, but then also move to accept Gigas Lane as a public way with the historical documentation as stated by the solicitor.
You want
I will,
to do the...
I will second that, Mr. Chair.
Second that? Okay, we put those together?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor? Carries 3-0. Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor? Thank you very much.